Testing 1 2 1 2.
Perfect.
Testing. Hello everyone. So we'll begin at 11:05. We're just waiting for more people to show up. Thank you so much for waking up so early to be here. I appreciate it. Please note, make sure to change your display name to the following. I'll be posting it in the chat, okay? This also applies to Kiwanis as well. Okay, hello everyone. Since it is 11:05, we'll get started. So hello, Rise and Shine CNH. Thank you all for attending our second executive caucus session today to hear more about our candidates platform. Similar to yesterday, we'll be following the same etiquette and procedures. Just note that during this time, each candidate will be having an opportunity to have their campaign team present, but will not be opening the floor for any nominations during this caucus session until our House of Delegates. For all the delegates, if you're nominating someone who isn't a registered delegate for running off of the floor, you may give them the House of Delegates link and they will reside in the waiting room until their name is called for their nomination. Once again, you guys are allowed to send the House of Delegates link to the person that will be running off of the floor, but they will be waiting in the waiting room until their name is nominated. So I will proceed with our procedures for running off of the floor. If a candidate is running off of the floor, they must be nominated and seconded by a current delegate in the room. When they're nominated, they'll be given 2 minutes to enter the Zoom and accept their nomination, or their nomination will be disqualified. Candidates do not need to complete materials to the caucus. However, their election will be contingent on providing the necessary documents by the end of the following week. It is highly encouraged that you notify this email, aka Eddie's email, of the candidate's intention of running prior to the nomination to save as much time as possible. I will be providing that email in the chat after this discussion. If the candidate is not a registered delegate, a link will be sent to their email directly so they may join the session. And now I'll proceed with the proper caucus etiquette and procedures for the rest of the session. Once again, the etiquette for our delegates are questions can only be asked by the delegates. Before speaking, please use the raise hand feature and wait until the chair recognizes you to unmute yourself. Questions that are targeted towards a candidate's sexuality, gender identity, race, political beliefs are prohibited. Please stay muted throughout the whole caucus unless you're called upon. Speaking with a candidate through social media and means of communication during this caucus is strictly prohibited. Leaving the room at any time during a speech will invalidate your entry until the candidate has finished speaking. Candidates will be given 7 minutes to speak, and the timekeeper, which is Eddie for this session, will alert them through the chat when they have 5 minutes left, 2 minutes left, 1 minute left, and 30 seconds, and then 10 seconds. Is everyone good? Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll proceed with our second caucus. Since there are no candidates for district secretary and district treasurer at the moment, we'll proceed with caucusing for only the position of district governor. With that, we'll be going in alphabetical order, starting with Joey Duong. I'll be opening up the breakout rooms, so please give me a moment. During this time, please take the opportunity to change your name to the according template in the chat. Sorry, give me a second, y'all. Thank you for your patience. I'm technologically challenged right now, so. Okay, sorry, thank you so much for waiting. So first we'll have Joey Duong. We'll wait until she enters the room. Okay. Hi, Joey. Just a reminder that you have 7 minutes total to speak, and we'll let you know in the chat when you have 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds, and 10 seconds left. After you or your campaign team is done speaking, please say "I yield." Your time will begin whenever you or your campaign team member starts speaking. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, perfect. Whenever you're ready, okay?
I yield.
For questions?
Yes.
Okay. Once again, delegates are the only ones who can speak or ask questions. Please use the raise hand feature. Are there any questions for Joey? Olivia?
I just woke up. You mentioned you want to be more involved with the committees. So how will you balance understanding what's going on with the 11 different committees at once?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Yeah, cut off. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
It got cut off. I'm sorry, her question got cut off for me.
Olive, can you repeat that?
Yeah, you mentioned you wanted to be more involved with district committees. So how will you balance understanding what's going on with the 11 different committees at once?
I think it really relies on time management as well as getting to know my chairs. Once they appoint their committees, I really do want to attend one of their meetings just to like familiarize the committee with me, as well as just check on them at least every other month, just check how they're doing and just really have not just attend their meetings, but I want to like host like committee socials for each committee as well, at least every other month as it is a lot. I am pretty good at balancing just in time management. But there is a lot of committees, so I do plan to just really work on communication and scheduling with the chairs, so we're able to like create this bond between the committees and each other. That way, they see me as a reliability, and they can see me as like a outside source to rely on, other than just their chair, as they do have support from outside their chair and committee.
Emily?
Hello, Emily Real, PCC. Do you have any experience working on chartering clubs, and how will you utilize that experience to assist with the growth in CNH?
I do not have experience in charting clubs. I only was able to stand by as an officer and witnessing these kind of moments when like charting clubs. But I do hope to learn. If elected, I plan to have one-on-ones with the current district board if they're okay with that, just to learn more about it. But even though I don't have chartering like experience, I do something I'm really passionate about is learning, and I do hope through that I'm able to just help chartering clubs better. Um, as I've seen some when they struggle before, and I would just take that experience with like everything I stated in my platform and utilize it to help them out.
Vanessa?
So as district governor, you do oversee lieutenant governors. So what plans do you have to ensure lieutenant governors have all the necessary education, tools, and training such that they can succeed in leading and supporting their divisions?
I think the most important part of the term is the beginning. So I really do hope to really just start off not too strong, but strong to making sure everyone knows like it's getting their proper training, as well as just setting up predecessor, one-on-ones, making sure they're doing that and making sure they're getting that knowledge and just making sure I'm present. I think presence is really important to running a board, and I just hope with that it'll help them out a bit more, as well as just learn myself what their duties are. Has I never been a lieutenant governor, but I worked with a lot of them, but I hope to have one-on-one still to make sure to see where we can start off strong and they're not lost or anything. And just really be that source of reliability again. Because then again, I was in lieutenant governor, but I am still passionate about learning about it.
Brandon Dimmer-Pessock.
How will you work with the district treasurer to help out financially struggling clubs?
I would just make sure to keep in communication with the district chair. What was the second part of your question? I'm sorry.
How will you work with the district treasurer to assist financially struggling clubs?
I'll make sure the district treasurer had they are overseeing like for these clubs. I'll make sure to just keep in contact, especially with lieutenant governors, to see if any of their schools are going through this, and if so, I will figure out ways with the district chair, with their committees, to see what we can do. What kind of situation is it? Is it a situation where we're able to help, or is it a situation where we need to think a little harder for a plan for them to be in good standing?
Brandon from Sac State.
What are your plans to increase transparency between the district board, committees, divisions, and clubs?
In terms of transparency, I think there's just so much confusion and weight on the district board when sometimes things just cannot be said. But I know it's frustrating for the general population. I really think we just need to reevaluate that line, because I do understand people members, and essentially the dark is a kind of it brings a lot to them and their mental health. But I also think that the district board sometimes their hands are tied. And I think we all just really need to remember everyone's behind the scenes and just respect and mind their mental health. I plan to send monthly public board reports if possible, or even just adding a news portion to my emails and not just sending it to the presidents, but the district as a whole publicly on media, etc. email. As an example is something I implemented my year as president, was club reports, which I stated hours, recognition, and news on the very bottom, and that news included resignations, etc. In terms of just further transparency, I think that would be a good start, as I do know it was difficult, especially for this term. But there was just a lot of obstacles we had to hurdle through. But I do think with these things like a report sort of thing, like public report, I think it will help bring transparency, as well as just me if elected as governor, just making probably statements with these people through emails. It will help ease down the nervousness.
Time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joey. You may leave to return back to the breakout room.
It's not an option for me.
Okay, let me throw you in again.
Thank you.
Sorry, give me a second.
No worries.
I'm looking for your name right now. Okay, so since Matthew Ujmov is having a difficult time logging in, we're gonna have a 10-minute intermission, so you guys can utilize this time to use the restroom or get some water. We'll reconvene at 11:33. Hello, cuties. Okay, we have 2 more minutes left from our intermission. If you guys have the opportunity, please make sure to rename yourselves. I will be providing the template in the chat. And yes, we'll be starting in 2 more minutes, okay? Hello, so it's 11:33. We'll be resuming. So the next person will be Matthew Ujimov. We'll be inviting him into the main room. Hello. Hi, Matthew. Just a reminder
Hello.
that you have 7 minutes total to speak. I'll let you know in the chat when you have 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds, and 10 seconds left. After you or your campaign team is done speaking, please say "I yield." Your time will begin whenever you or your campaign team starts speaking. Do you have any questions?
No. Could we spotlight Nathan Cortez to speak first?
Yes, of course. Give us a moment. Whenever you guys are ready.
All right. Passionate and determined. These are 2 words other than perfect that I would say best describe our next candidate. I've had the honor of being able to serve alongside this individual for 2 terms now, first as his secretary at El Camino College, and now as his executive assistant on the Metro Divisional Leadership Team. In that time, especially this past term, many challenges were thrown our way, some more difficult and frustrating than others. And however, his will to push through such hardships despite his own personal circumstances has always been a source of inspiration for me. With what he has been able to accomplish in the last 2 years, as a club president and as a lieutenant governor, I believe many others will agree with me when I say that he is one of the hardest working, most dedicated individuals within our organization. And with his innovative ideas for the district, I believe he is as ready as ever to ascend to the next level. CNH, it is my pleasure to introduce to you a true leader and a dear friend of mine, your potential next district governor, Matthew Ujimov.
Thank you. When trying to decide what to say for this next speech, I realized that I don't want to just say what I want to say. I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys want to know? So I yield the rest of my time for caucus.
Emily Real.
How would you approach a conflict between different officers, such as between a president and a lieutenant governor or amongst district board officers?
In terms of a conflict, I want to make sure that I hear out both sides. I don't want to just get the information from the LTG and then say, oh, the president was wrong. I want to make sure that I hear out both sides and that we go through different steps of either reconciliation or figure out ways to move forward if there is a problem. If it becomes a little bigger, then of course we might have to take larger steps like getting an advisor involved. But overall, I'll just make sure to hear out both sides and work with both of them to reconcile the issue.
Brandon from Sac State.
On your literature, it says you want to conduct research to make more data-driven changes and improve resources. How exactly will you be able to conduct that research? And how will you effectively implement that within your term?
So one thing you guys might not know that happened this year was the Laws and Regulations Committee did a research paper on a key club version of elections. And it was around like a 23, 24 page election paper paper about the election process of conclave for Key Club. And I want to keep utilizing laws and regulations to be more of like a research and development type of committee going into the future. The first thing I want to research is different recruitment methods for other organizations and figure out how can we better reflect other organizations' recruitment methods within our own organization. Other things I want to research are things like realignment. Like it's something that we've talked about for years now, but we've never done because we don't know what to do. So I want to make sure that we research it first so that we have all ideas and all potential solutions on the table. So if it ever does come up as a discussion, we have the data and have the research to discuss it.
Haley from CPP.
How do you plan to assist clubs who also have a satellite club under them?
So this is something that we definitely have to work on as a district. This year we tried out satellite clubs for the very first time, and it didn't go that hot this year, which is why I really want to work with the CB&R chair to really work hands-on with the satellite club from the district committee all the way down to the club, making sure that we are supporting the satellite club in all ways possible, making sure that they actually are signing up for Club Rush and making sure they are trying to get members to reach that minimum member criteria so they can then move off of being a satellite club and then becoming a chartered club. I believe that one thing that we do need to publish is the satellite club database from the CB&R committee and make sure that out in the open are the resources that the CB&R committee have already made in the past.
Any more questions? Brandon?
How you support clubs struggling with membership?
So this is one of the things that I want to touch most on base this year. I want to make sure I work hand in hand with the LTG, the CB&R committee, the MD&E committee, all throughout the district to make sure that we are supporting these clubs. First of all, we need to be publishing the graphics request form from the C&M committee. Oftentimes, smaller clubs can't advertise themselves well because they don't have somebody that knows graphics. And so that's why we really need to push the graphics request form for smaller clubs to be utilizing. After that, we need to make sure that everybody has a plan in place. Oftentimes, even I found with smaller clubs, is that they kind of decide to wing it for recruitment. And that's not what we can do this year. This is the most vital year to our organization's success. We are down to 1,200 members. We can't continue down this road decreasing a membership. We need to make sure every single club in our district has a plan in place for this year.
Brandon from Sac State.
Yesterday, you mentioned your plans about utilizing Solstice more. Can you elaborate a little about your plans a little bit more?
So with the Solstice app, I do want to say something. It's not going to fully change this year. It's not going to be fully revamped this year. But just like the MRF portal, where we have been preparing it for years, it'll be the same thing with the Solstice app. I want to use the Solstice app as our notification system as well as being able to push out events to the members through the Solstice app. I want to be able to utilize it for year-round utilization rather than just specific FTC and DCon. So say it's also being used for CrazyConf, also used for DLSSP, being able to have these different sections for people to be able to utilize while at other district events.
Time.
Thank you, Matthew Ujimov. With that, can you please move back into the breakout room? And I'm going to unspotlight you, Nathan. Up next, we'll have Ryan Tan. Hello, Ryan. Just a reminder that you have 7 minutes total to speak. We'll let you know in the chat when you have 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds, and 10 seconds left. After you or your campaign team is done speaking, please say "I yield." Your time will begin whenever you or your campaign team starts speaking. Do you have any questions? Awesome. Whenever you're ready.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Again, my name is Ryan Tan, pronouns he, him, his, and I'm a third year studying psychology with a minor in marketing at Cal State Fullerton. And I'm running to be your 2021 to 2022 CNH District Governor. I just wanted to reiterate my platforms and goals if I am elected as District Governor, which are 1, supporting our presidents and clubs by providing them proper resources and guidance throughout the term. 2, communication and accountability on the district board. And 3, making CNH Circle K more safe and accessible for our membership. Thank you so much for your time. And I'd like to yield the remainder of my time for caucus.
Emily?
Hi, Ryan. So what experience do you have in chartering clubs, and how will you utilize these skills to assist with growth within CNH?
Thank you for the question. So when I was a foothill lieutenant governor, I was in the process of helping recharter Los Angeles City College. And unfortunately, during my term, I wasn't able to recharter the club, but I did have a good glimpse of the chartering process for this club as a whole. I think just understanding the rechartering process or reactivation fees and the difference between these two will help me understand how to better help these two different niches within CNH Circle K.
Brandon Dimapasok?
Is there anything that you would change about how district board functions?
Like in terms of the structure or just overall?
I guess both.
Okay, so overall district board, I would like to add a little bit more accountability and communication between district board in the aspect of having unofficial meetings, just to have a safe space for people to ask for help from one another. I'd like to change that structure in terms of just having more meetings while also having a retreat that would be focused on lieutenant governors. So then they would have the proper resources and also training before the summer. In terms of the structure of district board, I think one of my main changes that I would make on the structure would probably be merging the administration and operations chair and also club building and revitalization chair into one position that would be probably called like club support and expansion or club expansion and support chair, just so it could focus on helping the vice president administration while also helping just supporting clubs as a whole, whether they are deactivated or on the edge of unchartering. Thanks for the question.
Any further questions? Brandon from Sac State.
Many Circle K board members and especially district board members suffer from burnout every year. What are your plans to prevent burnout within your own board, burnout between, and also burnout with club members and also with yourself?
Mhm. So I think with burnout in itself, like it's something that's bound to happen to a lot of people within Circle K just due to the amount of work and also productivity that we do within the district. So I think by just really identifying when you're about to burn out, because when I start to think back of when my worst burnouts in this organization, it was when I was just refusing to accept the fact that I was burning out. So I guess like TLDR, I think that just having and also identifying burnout a little bit earlier in the aspect of maybe you're a little bit less productive, you feel more tired within my board members, club members, or even myself. And by understanding that and communication and proper communication to the proper people would help mitigate just the burnout as it is. For example, if I felt like I was going to burn out during my term, I would start to communicate with my district secretary and also district treasurer and letting them know, hey, I'm going to be taking 1 or 2 days just off from Circle K to really just take some time to recharge. And I would like to expect the same communication and accountability from my district board officers. And I'd like to encourage this to club officers as well. Thank you.
Vanessa.
You mentioned having some sort of LTG retreat in order to, I guess, like make sure that they're prepared. So like what kind of trainings do you hope to standardize within the LTG so that they're successful?
Yeah, so I think with lieutenant governors, it's pretty obvious that each lieutenant governor functions a little bit differently, but there are some standardizations within this kind of what's it called, position. So some things I'd like to standardize mostly would be how to host more interactive DCMs, how to host safe DCMs, including since I've seen some lieutenant governors let me know of having interactive or hybrid DCMs. So making sure that division events have the highest attendance possible, while also promoting a workshop or webinar that's geared towards publicity or also marketing, and also how to create a proposal and how to let your voice be heard within CNH Circle K. So I think all these different things of logistics would be something I'd like to encourage and also implement within the LTG retreat.
Darian.
Hi, what plans do you have to support small clubs, at-risk clubs, and or geographically isolated clubs?
Yeah, thank you. So in terms of like all those different groups, I feel like having different recruitment kits or also some items that would help these niche clubs, such as with small clubs having a recruitment kit that's focused on Welcome Week, or also some other resources that they may need. And with at-risk clubs, having the proper chairs reach out to them to let them know that we are here to help out. With geographically isolated clubs, I'd like to actually just include them into the conversation and ask them how we can help them out. Because you.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. You may stay since you are the last candidate. I'll be opening up the breakout room, or sorry, closing all of the breakout rooms before I make any last minute announcements. Okay, so that is the end of our second caucus question. Thank you so much for everyone for attending and for being patient during our technical difficulties. Our House of Delegates will begin today at 1:45 p.m. and it will be closed to delegates and delegates at large only. However, the session will be live streamed to our membership on our CNH YouTube channel. It is crucial for all of our delegates to check in at 1 p.m. through the same link. With that, thank you so much for coming, and I will see you guys soon. What for? Yeah, sorry.